In a small, isolated village nestled among the mountains, a cold and dark night had fallen. Tall trees swayed gently in the strong wind, and the sky was thick with dark clouds, hiding the moonlight. This village, known for its quiet and peaceful nature, lived in constant fear of an ancient legend passed down through generations, the legend of the vampire that lived in the mountains. The legend claimed that every 100 years, the vampire would awaken from his deep slumber and wander through the village in search of his victims. He would drain the blood of young men and women to preserve his youth and strength. They said his eyes would glow red when he was hungry, and his sharp fangs could tear through any body in his path. That night, Marcus, a young villager, sat near the fireplace in his home, feeling slightly uneasy. He knew that this year marked 100 years since the last appearance of the vampire. However, he didn't believe in superstitions and dismissed them as mere tales to frighten children. As he was preparing to sleep, he heard a faint knocking on his window. He ignored it at first, thinking it was just the wind, but the knocking continued and grew more insistent. Cautiously, he approached the window, and when he slowly opened it, he found a young woman standing outside, wearing a white dress and looking exhausted. In a weak voice, she said, "Help me." Marcus invited her inside and quickly closed the window to keep the cold out. She sat by the fire and told him she had been lost in the forest for a long time, searching for shelter. But Marcus noticed something strange. Her eyes had a faint red glow, and she seemed to avoid making direct eye contact with him. As time went on, the woman began to relax and spoke of unclear things, as if she carried a dark secret. Suddenly, she turned to Marcus with fiery eyes and said in an eerie voice, "I've been looking for you for a long time, Marcus." Before Marcus could grasp what was happening, the woman suddenly transformed into a vampire and lunged at him with her sharp teeth. Marcus screamed as loud as he could, but he was alone on that dark night. He tried to fight back, but his strength wasn't enough. As her fangs sank into his skin, he felt his life slowly slipping away. The last thing he saw before losing consciousness was her sly smile and her glowing red eyes. The next morning, the villagers awoke to find Marcus' house empty, with no trace of him. As for the vampire, she had returned to her mountains, waiting another 100 years before coming back again.